Hello everyone, Luis here from Toe Universe. Hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's safe and healthy. So this is a video that I've been planning to do for some time. It's a video that I'm probably going to get some backlash. I'm probably going to lose some subscribers. People are probably going to think that I'm getting paid to do this, which I'm not. You know, my opinions can't be bought. You know, I state how I feel. So, little backstory. 2 years ago, I was at the 2022 Baltimore Toe Show, which is my favorite show out of all the shows. And after the show had ended, I found myself at a hotel bar across the city. And, you know, I'm walking through, making myself to go get a beverage, and a gentleman steps away from the bar with his hand out, shakes my hand, and he goes, "Hey, Luis, I'm a big fan of your YouTube channel, even though you're one of our harshest critics." So he hands me a business card, and lo and behold, it ends up being a director from Agero. So I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. So we start talking there, and he starts mentioning all the changes they have made since the last time I was a provider. So he wanted to sit down the following morning with me to have a meeting. So I said, all right, you know, it doesn't hurt to hear the man speak. So we scheduled a meeting the following day. So the day of the meeting, I actually had friends of mine who own a tow company in Lafayette, New York, Toenator Towing. I had them sit with me during the meeting because they had questions too. So they are there explaining to us all the changes they've made, the changes that they're planning to do in the future, and if I'd be interested in coming back as a service provider. At the time, I was out of network, but I was also turning down a lot of the work because they were hitting me with chargebacks. So I agreed to sign back up, but I also had warned them that if things have not changed, that I will be doing a negative video about them not changing. So anyways, fast forward, a week later, we were contracted with them again. And you know, we started running calls for them. We started utilizing the swoop system, which when I was a contract provider prior, they had just started coming out with the swoop system. So I was only submitting my invoices through TowBook, and so I was new to the swoop system. So things have been going great. We've been with them about 2 years. I think it'll be 2 years in November. We run a bunch of their calls, anywhere from 250 to 400 calls a month for them. We were able to actually open up satellite locations that, you know, we were able to open up satellite locations in other parts of the state. So it has helped grow my business, and, you know, I'm grateful for it. And they have made a lot of positive changes. They're not perfect. There's still a lot of stuff they need to work on, which I'll address later. But one of the biggest things that I find that they made a drastic change on is the swoop system. The swoop system is so informative. It is so well put together. The dispatching integrated with TowBook is just, it's so streamlined. You know, it's just, they spent a lot of time developing this, and I think it's great. So the dashboard is amazing, especially for service providers, because there's a lot of metrics that you can utilize to give you a lot more information. So Agero has been using algorithms and NPS scores, and an NPS score is a net provider score. And back in the day, they used to usually go with the cheapest person who was more cost effective to them. But this day and age, that's really not the case. They're actually looking into several things. They're looking into into the surveys that you're receiving, which they send out to, I believe, every third customer. They'll send them a survey, and it's graded 1 to 10. So they're looking into that. They're looking into your call acceptance. They're looking into your ETAs. And they're looking into your job completion. They're also looking into reassigns. So if you're going there and not being able to perform the job, that's going to affect your score dramatically. So it's nice because the cheaper, a cheap service does not necessarily mean a quality service. So it helps companies like myself and companies out there that they just focus on customer service. It helps us get more of the volume. And I think that is huge. And the nice thing too about their metrics and stuff, they actually have a simulator now that you can turn the dial and you can increase your cost or decrease your cost, and it'll tell you pretty much how it's going to affect your volume. And it's the same thing with your NPS score. If you're at a 90, you can turn the dial up to a 95, and it'll same thing. It'll show what your call volume will look like, and that's great. It's just there's so much information there that you can utilize as a company. Another thing that I love about the swoop system, which no other motor club is doing, is the amount of resources they give you. So down here in the South, a lot of tow providers turn down the electric vehicles, Teslas, Rivians, whatever. And in Swoop, you have all the resources to know how to tow these things. It has the hook points. It has the putting them into neutral procedures. And this is for all the electric vehicles, whether it's a Jaguar, whether it's a Tesla, whether it's a Rivian. And all that information is just, it's great to have. They've got whether something can be dollied, whether something, doesn't need to be dollied. And this is all stuff that is right at our fingertips, and us as companies, we should be utilizing it. Another thing that they changed dramatically is the chats. And if you've been doing work for a Gero for some time, you remember years ago, if you had to update a job, add services, charges, whatever, you'd have to get on the phone, and you'd be on the phone for 45 minutes, 60 minutes. Sometimes you're there for an hour and a half, and they hang up on you, and you got to start the whole process again. So they've implemented the chat, and at first I was a little skeptical with it, but I have found that utilizing the chat is much easier than being on the phone. Because when you're on the phone, it's tying up a line, and you're there waiting. And with the chat, you can usually get a representative within 30 minutes. And that's great. It's better than being on the phone. So, we're a big fan of the chats, and we utilize the chat for every time we got to add a service, update an address, yada, yada, yada. So that there was a game changer for us. And the swoop system, it's really nice because you can see your invoice, you can see what you're billing for, and then you hit submit, and it usually gets approved within minutes. Where I remember, man, you would call, you would submit an invoice and it would sit in audit for who knows how long, or however long it took to get approved. But it's so much quicker this day and age. Now, there are several things that they need to work on. And speaking of the chat, sometimes you get somebody on the chat that just doesn't want to do their job or doesn't know how to do their job, and you don't get anywhere. But the work around that is you close the chat and you open another one up, and usually you'll get somebody who knows what they're doing and or cares about their job. So that is one thing, is that a Gero kind of needs to set up like a secret shopper and start going on these chats and either training these individuals that don't want to do their jobs or letting them go. That is, that's one of the issues that I have. Another issue that I have is the lack of information when it comes to why is the vehicle being towed. And it just drives me up a wall when you ask what's wrong with it, and they go, there's a mechanical issue. Mechanical issue could be anything. Mechanical issue could mean it has a flat. Mechanical issue could be it's on its roof. So that's one of the things that Gerald needs to work on, is getting us more information. Whether, what's wrong with the vehicle, are there passengers? If so, how many? And, those are all things that us as service providers need. Another thing that I don't really like is when they send the jobs through Tollbook, Swoop, whatever, and we turn them down and they continue to send them, and then they end up calling. So that can be annoying, especially in the evenings when you're trying to get some sleep. You're hitting reject, you put your head on the pillow, and then they call. So, that there can be a little bit annoying. But they have come a long way. Right now, I can't really think of, anything else to say. As a motor club that I used to criticize a lot and talk harshly about them, they have changed a lot, and from what I'm hearing, they're making even more changes to better suit the service provider. I honestly think Agero right now is the best motor club out there. They are better than Honk. They are better than Urgently. They make AAA look like garbage, which I don't even know why AAA is still around. So things are going in the right direction, and like I said, it's they have turned a lot around, and as service providers, we need to be more vocal on the issues that they have. So go to the tow shows, go to the booths, beat them up, express your feelings, tell them your concerns, and even if you can't make it to the tow shows, leave comments on like this video. Jero's watching my videos and they're reading the comments. So unless we voice our opinion, and it doesn't just necessarily mean to a Jero, but if we're not voicing our opinions with these motor clubs, changes are never going to happen. Now, with that being said, I hope everybody, has a good holidays and stuff, and hit the like and subscribe button, and I appreciate everybody watching.